Okay, let's get right into it. Have you ever really thought about what's happening under the hood? I mean, really happening when you do something simple like press the brake pedal or turn up the radio? It feels instantaneous, right? But behind the scenes, there's this incredibly fast, totally silent conversation going on. In this explainer, we're going to pull back the curtain on the invisible network that makes your modern car tick. So just think about that for a second. How do your brakes, your engine, and your radio all talk to each other at the same time? How does a sensor that detects ice on the road tell your anti-lock brakes to fire up while also telling the engine to cut back on power and flashing a warning on your dashboard, all in the blink of an eye? They've got to have a way to communicate, and that's the puzzle we're here to solve. All right, here's the first big idea you need to wrap your head around. Your car isn't one single machine. Not anymore. It's more like a team. It is packed, and I mean packed, with these little dedicated computers called electronic control units, or ECUs. You've got one for the engine, one for the transmission, one for the airbags, the power windows, the seats. You get the picture. Each one is a little specialist, doing its one job perfectly.
But for any team to work, everybody's got to speak the same language, right? You can't have the engine ECU yelling in one dialect and the braking system listening for another. It would be total chaos. They need a universal translator, a kind of central nervous system that lets every single part communicate instantly and without any confusion.
And that brings us to the star of the show today, CAN, which stands for Controller Area Network. It's basically that standardized digital language that all those ECUs use to talk to each other. Now here's the really cool part. It works without a central computer. Think about that. CAN is a decentralized network. Every part can shout out a message and listen for other messages all at the same time. So now we know what it is, but let's get into the why. Why was this such a massive game changer for the entire auto industry? Well, its impact really boils down to 4 key transformations. You can think of CAN's impact as resting on 4 main pillars. First off, it completely revolutionized safety. It also led to a huge leap in efficiency. It gave us the power to monitor a car's health in real time like never before. And maybe most importantly, it laid the foundation for all the innovation we're seeing today. Let's break each of those down.
First, and honestly, this is the most important one, safety. When things go wrong on the road, you need your airbags and your anti-lock brakes to work. Not just work, but work instantly, without a single error or delay. CAN makes sure those life-saving signals get top priority and are delivered flawlessly. It is the absolute bedrock of modern car safety. Man, this slide really paints the picture, doesn't it? Before CAN, cars were an absolute nightmare of wiring. We're talking heavy, complicated bundles of wires, a different one for every single little function. It was expensive, it added a ton of weight, and it was a mess to build and fix. CAN just swept all that away and replaced it with a simple, lightweight 2-wire system. It slashed costs, weight, and complexity all at once. And this didn't just change manufacturing, it totally transformed car maintenance. See, because every ECU is on this one network, a mechanic can just plug a tool into one single port. That's the OBD2 port you have under your steering wheel. And they can listen in on the car's entire conversation. It lets them find exactly what's wrong instead of guessing. And for you, that means faster, more accurate, and usually cheaper repairs. But here's the thing. CAN isn't just some old tech from the past. It is the essential foundation for the future of cars. So let's shift gears a little and look at how this technology is paving the road for the cars we'll all be driving tomorrow. Let's start with electric vehicles. An EV has to manage some incredibly complex stuff, right? It's constantly monitoring hundreds of individual battery cells, controlling powerful electric motors, and coordinating regenerative braking. All of those systems need to be in perfect, constant sync. And yep, CAN is that robust, high-speed network that makes it all work together seamlessly. And what about autonomous driving? A self-driving car is basically a supercomputer on wheels. It's taking in this massive flood of data from cameras, from LiDAR, from radar sensors every single second. CAN is that high-speed nervous system connecting all those sensors to the car's AI brain, letting it make those life-or-death decisions in real time. And finally, the whole system is built to grow. As we keep adding more tech, connecting our cars to the internet, to our phones, to smart city grids, the CAN network can handle it. It's the flexible backbone that lets our cars become true Internet of Things devices. Okay, so after all of that, let's zoom out. Let's ask the big question. Why does this invisible technology really, truly matter? What's the bottom line here? A quote from our source material just hits the nail on the head. It says that for everyone in the industry, mastering CAN technology is no longer optional, it is essential for staying competitive. Think about that for a second.
Not a nice to have, it's essential. So the key takeaway is this. The next time you get in your car, just take a moment and remember that silent, lightning-fast conversation that's happening all around you. From the airbags that keep you safe to the touchscreen you're tapping, CAN software is the invisible backbone holding the whole thing together. And that leaves us with a pretty fascinating question to think about, doesn't it? The language of CAN gave us the smart, connected car that we know today. So what's next? What will the next digital language, the next universal translator for our vehicles, make possible for the car of tomorrow?